Let's put on camera A. All right, you ready?
Sure.
When you hear the clap, you press the button, all right?
Okay. So welcome everyone to Smalltalk with Matt and John. I'm Matt.
I'm John, and today we have with us our guest, Josh Nickerson.
Oh, thank you.
Welcome, Josh.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Josh is a local artist, a great one, from Buffalo.
So tell the people, who are you?
Let's see. I'm a local artist from Buffalo, as John said. I used to show with him for a while at the College Street Co-op. Been showing locally, I think like 2010.
Yeah.
Let me see where I've been. Yeah, most recently had a show at the Carnegie Art Center.
Oh, great. Yeah.
But I showed at Starlight Studio and Gallery, C.G. Jung Center.
Yeah.
And I had a show. I don't remember University of Pittsburgh.
Oh.
Man, I'm blanking
great.
on the name of the gallery.
Yeah.
Let's see.
What year? Oh, Prada? Oh,
Yeah.
the Barco Gallery.
Yeah.
Great.
Thank you very much. I didn't.
No problem. So,
Yeah. Forget about him sometime. You know.
Well, when I was doing research on you, I just went on your website that consisted of my research. But yeah, you had a lot of interesting kind of events. But basically, to sum up for the viewers, your artwork, you're inspired by the structure of the natural world and its use of modular units repeating in endless variations. Is this true?
Yeah, that's absolutely true. That's basically what the current body of work is based on. Like the drawings I've been working on like a couple years now. But yeah, that's basically what they're based on. As I was looking, all these different photos of, cells or, wasp nests, and, just kind of what I kept seeing is that the way nature builds is almost just, these tiny, tiny units just like repeated endlessly, stacked up. But I mean, to a certain extent, my work was, initially kind of influenced by like 60s minimalism. For a while I was kind of obsessed with like how crisp can I get, basically a shape, that kind of obsessive, like meticulous, like, can I get this square perfect? Then can I get the next one perfect? And on and on and on.
Okay.
Which, I don't know, for me, it was kind of like, I've always been good at like obsessing. Like,
Is it like a meditation almost?
I think it can be, yeah. I think it definitely can be. It has like, I mean, I don't really meditate anymore. I did for quite a while though. And there's like kind of like similar experiences. But I'm trying to think, I mean, I think some things that overlap is, like with meditation, you get like that sense of like timelessness.
Yeah.
Like usually you're really aware of time. You're also really aware of almost like this like ongoing narrative in your head.
Yeah.
Like kind of what you almost have like this voice in your head kind of talking about what you're doing, what you might be doing, and with, I don't know if you have similar experiences, but when you're really focused on artwork, sense of time tends to kind of go away, as does like that voice that's always like some other center takes over, like you're making choices, but you're not.
Did you plan things out originally, or did like things build?
I mean, one key thing for me has always been, and I don't know, like your process for planning artwork might be different, but I think early on when I was younger, I would have a tendency to like think about a work until I got like this really crisp image of my head about like what exactly it needed to be. And I think that's just a recipe for like madness, because then I would have this image of it needs to look exactly like this.
It does look like,
And then I'm going to sit down and I'm going to start working, and then it's going to end up and be this exact image that's in my head, which is almost impossible. So I think what I've started doing now is almost like trying to short circuit that process. So if I have like a kernel of an idea and I'm like, well, that might work, I try to stop it while it's a kernel, because I don't want this like crystal perfect image that I then need to replicate. And then, it can just go be whatever it needs to be. And I'm not always looking at like, okay, this is what I've done, but then I have this image that it's moving towards. And then if the work needs to go in a different direction that might be interesting, it can go that way. And I'm not always trying to push it towards this like, this, this
Did
image.
you go to school for art? Or?
No, I didn't go to school for art. No.
Oh, cool. So this comes out of a love of pattern and the things you see, like a genuine love of what you see and type of thing.
It's kind of strange. Like I took art classes.
Yeah.
But yeah, I took art history classes. I took like a drawing class. I took a printmaking class.
Yeah.
But I think the issue is I think I was smart enough not to major in fine art.
Yeah.
Just because what ended up happening is I ended up like dropping the the printmaking class because throughout the semester you have to have so many prints done to complete the class, and I think it was like almost like halfway through the semester and I had like 2 prints made.
Yeah.
Because I was just like, I had this image of what I wanted the print to be, and I just kept working on it and working on it. And I think the professor was nice enough to be like, listen, you need to drop the class.
Yeah.
Like, you have like 2 prints, and they're really good, but you can't have 3 prints by the time the class is over.
But that's probably good. That's great because you were probably uncorrupted by like who knows what your art would be like. Now you have this
By
unique
corporations.
Yeah,
You're not skewed.
Yeah. Like you'd have like I don't know, goofy artwork like mine, like women and eyeballs and.
It looks like can you describe some of your artwork to the viewers? Because I know just by looking, it looks like you're very focused on like molecules or chemistry. I know one of your shows is called Everything is Chemistry. Yes, it is. But do you want to talk about? We can place your art right here.
Right here.
See it,
Yeah,
viewers? But what piece? I don't know. Is there one of these that you'd
Let's
want to
see.
kind of walk your viewers through?
I think with the chemistry theme, we can start with kind of an earlier one. Let's see, the one, if you go to the orange one, the white one that's right next to it.
This one.
Other
This
way,
one?
yeah. Because that's kind of like an early one.
Is this called Untitled? Is that what it's called?
That isn't, and that, you can kind of see it, like when I was talking about like the 60s minimalism.
Yeah.
Like, you look at 60s minimalist art, and it's, it's basically like, rows of cubes or circles.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of a jumping off piece, because you can kind of see it being in that school. But then it's kind of like connected by all these kind of like thin, imperfect lines.
Yeah. To me, it gives me a sense of something alive, something that's it's following a natural pattern, and like things are these connected? Are they talking to each other? What are they exchanging?
I think that's all stuff I was interested in, and also just, I don't know. You can only, I guess, and I shouldn't criticize because I guess it depends on what type of artist you are and what you're interested in. But sorry, I was finding you can only make the same shape perfectly like so many times before. At first you're like, hey, that's great, this looks great, but then you get like 4 perfect cubes and like you're happy with yourself, but you get like 30 of them. It just starts to become kind of numbing.
Are you using rulers and stuff and stencils?
I've been using a lot of like architecture stencils,
Okay.
just to kind of get the edges.
Yeah.
And I think what basically ended up happening is just it got to the point where I was like, well, like like there's work that like visually you're like, hey, this works, but the working process has to be enjoyable.
Yeah.
And I think it was getting to the point where it's just I wasn't looking forward to going to the studio, and I started to look more and more at like the natural world and being like, well, you see these patterns building up, they're similar, but they're irregular.
Yeah.
And I wish I could remember this is sorry.
Oh, because I've been taking a permaculture design course, which is like very much in permaculture. One of the things is about like patterns. So they're talking about like on leaves, like you have the same kind of main thing with little veins that come out, and the same thing with like a human pulmonary system or spirals. Like on a snail shell will be like a common pattern. But do you have any patterns like in nature that are very much like that are like your favorite to kind of view, or just kind of you're just observing overall any types of patterns?
I think what I've been doing, and this is on purpose, is I'll go and I'll look at a ton of images I find interesting. Like I'll look at like X-rays, cells, basically whether it's plankton, bacteria, but I'll just look at all this stuff, but intentionally like. It's usually the time where I'll just kind of take it all in, but not go and not sketch, not work on anything. And then when I go and I'm I'm working on a drawing, I'm not looking at anything because I want there to be kind of a gap where it's like the brain kind of like digests this stuff, and then it like reaches back and maybe it references things, but I didn't want it to be a, like, hey, I'm looking at like a diatom, and then I'm going to go in the studio, I'm going to draw a diatom.
Yeah.
Because, there already is like medical illustration, and that's a field unto itself, and I didn't want my work to be like, hey, it's part of the human shoulder, and I drew it exactly like that, only it's, in ink. So I wanted there to be, you could read the drawings as several different things.
Oh, okay. Humans, they have a thing for patterns.
Patterns are everywhere.
Yeah, I know, like, if certain drugs will bring out like a fascination with a pattern, like that's what I've always heard. I don't take any hallucinogens or anything, but yeah, where like people become intrigued by like a pattern on the floor or something of that nature, and I feel like your artwork is like. It's almost like there is something mental going on with the human brain being drawn into going, what's in that pattern? What's past that?
Yeah, I mean, you bring up an interesting point. Like, yeah, one thing I was kind of wondered about is there is certain artwork, and it seems like, certain drugs seem to produce certain artworks. I remember reading somewhere about, like, in the 1920s about Art Nouveau, and how a lot of people said that, I don't, man, what was it? It was wormwood. They used to put wormwood in absinthe.
Oh yeah, I heard about that. Yeah.
And
that would inspire like pattern.
I guess they said if you look at Art Nouveau and it's got all those like those wavy lines that are organic. I guess if you drink a ton of laudanum, that's not laudanum.
Absinthe.
Yes. Yeah.
Absinthe vodka.
Yeah.
If you drink a ton of that, like that's what people tend to see. And they said maybe just like LSD in the 60s that certain drugs seem to produce, that's the pattern you see, and artists take that.
It seems like great drugs really inspire great art. I don't know why that is.
But I also heard, too, that in a natural environment, if you're like in a salt, like a dark salt thing, like suspended in darkness, like that's the thing you can do. I don't know.
Suspend yourself in darkness?
Yeah, just float in salt. You'll start seeing, they're called entoptic forms, like just patterns and forms will just flow because they're flowing through your head, and it's kind of like
it seems when people do, from what I've heard, I've heard this, when people do drugs, especially extreme drugs, they just see lots of patterns and it kind of freaks them out.
But it's part of nature. Nature's made of patterns. It's like the skin. It's like the skin is going, little cell, little hair.
Why does nature do that?
I don't know. I heard sensory deprivation tanks.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to say.
If you're like people hang out in them long enough, I guess the body is just deprived of stimulus, and it just says, I need stimulus to just make it. And people start kind of seeing like these really intense patterns and hallucinations because the body's like,
It seems crazy, like the human mind, like those fortune tellers or those people, like Long Island Medium, they're kind of full of, they just like play on your mental ability to like see things, or this person's talking to me.
Yeah.
It's like, no, they're not. They're just taking vague generalities, and they know that you'll apply it to your own life.
Like the cold reading people like that.
Yeah. That's We're telling our listeners, don't do that.
Listeners,
don't give money to those people. We're okay.
I was just saying, like, in the last 5 minutes, I wasn't sure you're talking like, don't do drugs, don't get in a sensory deprivation tank, don't.
No drugs.
Cold read people, take their money.
Well, even before at dinner, beforehand at Pot's Deli, which is an unofficial sponsor of Smalltalk Radio.
Okay.
But we were talking about how you listened to our first episode and we said, hey, like, don't take us as spiritual gurus because people are turning to their podcasters to fill the spiritual void.
Yeah.
But you made up a good point of we should embrace that. So, yes, viewers, come to us. Fill your spiritual void through us.
Exactly, viewers. Yeah, exactly. I'm telling you, because we can fill that void. Because there's an emptiness. We know there's an emptiness in all of you.
We know it.
And we can fill it with Matt and John.
Yeah, just the other day, I heard somebody on the street. They just came up to me and they said, Matt, I've been listening to your podcast.
Yeah.
You were speaking to me when I had a gun in my mouth, and then your link just showed up in my feed. Amazon Analytics just directed it to me, and I listened, and they want to live their life now.
That's
Which is
true.
what-
That's the only reason I'm here. Like literally the only reason I'm here. I had a bottle full of pills.
Yeah.
And I
Oh,
heard
you're
the
the-
intro music.
the
John
pills?
was like,
Yeah.
"Put down those
pill.
pills."
Yeah, put them down.
He
Yeah.
spoke to us and
Yeah.
through the radio.
Yeah, so put down the pills, and remember, you don't have to cut yourself to feel.
Yeah. So there's
Yeah, so it-
someone right now that's just wanting to cut
Yeah,
themselves.
Don't do it. Yeah, you don't have
But
to do
we're
it.
reaching out. We're
Yes.
reaching through the camera
Yeah,
to you.
yeah.
Don't do it. Listen to our show.
Listen,
There's-
yeah. And tell and advertisers too.
Also, yes.
Yeah,
Don't
Great.
cut yourself.
We're going to take a short commercial break and go to our sponsors. So, if you look up into that corner over there,
You'll
see
see-
him over here,
Oh,
See some-
I'm looking.
over here,
there?
you could have your ad right there.
Yeah.
And then just, we're going to put on RFP. So,
Whatever
if
your
you want to be a
product is.
sponsor of our show, your logo could go right there.
Yeah. If you have like coffee or
Or maybe it could go here.
toothpick,
Look at
or-
here, right here.
Yeah.
Your ad could be right here.
Yeah, or some
Or maybe your ad could go by John's head, to the left of his head.
Oh, thank you.
John, show our potential advertisers where their logo might go.
Right here.
Right there. Don't you want your logo there?
Yeah.
We've also talked about product placement.
Product placement.
So, if you want your this could be anything. Right now, it's a shitty beer because we're struggling artists.
Yeah.
And we're just we're making our way.
Yeah.
But this could be your product in my hand, and I could be talking about it.
Exactly.
Now you're missing out. Don't you feel like you're missing out?
Yeah.
Any sort of product.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Here's another thing. Okay, what is your favorite cartoon character?
Man, let me think. I'm gonna go with Jake the dog from Adventure Time.
Oh,
That's what I'm gonna-
okay.
that's my
Gosh darn. Okay, yeah. I've seen that guy. He's like a weird. Yeah, he has a new weird shape.
He's like a yellow dog, but he's kind of got like the Mr. Fantastic.
Oh,
like,
yeah,
stretchy powers. Yeah.
Yeah, I could dig into that guy. Yeah, I've seen that Adventure Time cartoon. It's pretty good. It's like I myself, my favorite one is Ryoko from Tenchi Muyo.
Oh.
Ryoko, she's like this magical space pirate, and she flies around
That's a good deal. That's
and shoots stuff. Yeah, it shoots laser beams and things.
I don't really have a favorite cartoon
Oh, okay.
character.
Okay,
I feel like there's certain parts of my childhood, not saying it's good or bad, but some things I just was not exposed to and get into, and cartoons are one of those things.
yeah. Okay.
But now I have a void. I have a spiritual
Yeah.
cartoon void in
Yeah.
my soul.
Maybe go looking around because there's a lot. Yeah, there's an octopus. There's the lion that was kind of effeminate. There was George of the Jungle. There was all sorts of things from the past. There's Barney Rubble. A lot of people like Barney.
I like Waldo too. He's always hiding, but he's always there.
Where is he? Yeah, where is he?
He always finds a great spot to hide. You can never find him.
Yeah.
He's just chilling.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's getting very, very spiritual right there. Waldo
very
could
spiritual.
be part of the recipe, the guru recipe. Waldo,
That's true.
he's always there and he's always not there.
We need
He's
an
always-
8-point spiritual strategy.
Oh,
Covering
okay.
some sort of 8-point
Okay.
agenda that
Oh,
will
okay.
cover everyone's spiritual needs.
Oh, okay. First, have something to drink. Second,
But
don't
when you say
annoy
have
people.
something to drink, it has to be the official beer of Pod
Official
beer
Small
of
Talk
Pod.
Ice, which is this beer,
Okay.
this hypothetical beer that is in my
Hypothetical beer.
hand. But it
But
could be your beer if you're a brewer.
but you need another spiritual point. Okay, don't annoy people. That's a good.
Now, ooh,
Be nice to cats.
be nice to cats.
Collect things. Maybe try to collect some things.
Be an artist.
Be an artist.
Don't be a drone
Number
that sits
4.
in a cubicle and doesn't have any original thoughts.
Don't. Yeah.
Is this more than 8? This could be more than 8.
We're just in the brainstorming
All right,
stage.
sure.
Right now we're just throwing out the points. And viewers, we like to say it. Who are we to tell you what your spiritual points are? Email us. Subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Yeah,
Recommend.
yeah,
This is we're starting a new age religion.
Yeah. New Age was. Okay. So try to worship things that are floating around in space that are good. Floating in space. It's something to religious. Okay, that's number 5.
I think the one trap I'm seeing is like once you have like 8 points,
Yeah.
and they're kind of like those points people can say like, hey, this works for me or it doesn't work for me. And if you're kind of just going for like the guru thing, maybe just speak completely in like proverbs, because then it's like nobody can really be like, well, that didn't work
How about-
because it's all pretty vague.
That gave me a new idea for a point or a commandment. It could be, if you don't like our commandments, don't follow them.
Oh,
That's a commandment.
Everybody gets an out.
That's
Yeah.
a good one.
That's a good one.
Put that one toward the end.
Yeah, that'll
That'll be like,
or do you put it at the beginning and then that's how you rope people into being a follower? It's like, oh, I'm intrigued. This is new age.
Okay, maybe it's something to get them in is like, you are going to make a lot of money
Yeah.
in this.
How about provide Matt and John with a small percentage of your monthly paycheck?
Oh, yeah.
That's good.
Ties to Matt and John, yeah.
Because people, they know you're selling them something. But if you're upfront with them, if you're authentic about it, then it's like, oh, these people are, they're not trying to, get behind my back and take my money. They're just being upfront about it.
And also, too, eventually you'll get that money back.
Yeah.
Really?
It'll trickle down to you. So if you give us the money, we compost your money, we turn it into a nutrient, and then we provide it back to you eventually.
And it will trickle back on you.
Because John is soon to have lost his job. So
I'm not going to have a job.
So this could be your act of charity for the year.
For me?
Or your lifetime is just send John money. You're saving someone.
That should be the first one. Of commandments.
Send money. Okay, first one, send money.
Mm-hmm.
Second one, be nice to cats. Mm-hmm. Third one is don't be a jerk. Fourth one is listen to our podcast. Advertise on our podcast.
Share it. Always like and share it on social media. Always.
Yeah.
Like and share.
Yeah.
I really like the last commandment, just the opt-out one. The one that's kind of like, unless you're not feeling it. And it's just across the board.
You can opt out at any point.
Opt out at any point, yeah. Unless you've put a lot in there. And then you have to kind of stay.
We don't want any sunk costs. We want people to feel like if they don't like our religion, they can they can escape.
Oh, okay.
But we strongly encourage them to stick with ours.
Yeah.
And it also kind of like, it means that, you guys kind of can keep out of the trajectory like a lot of religions have, which is like you have that last commandment of unless you're not feeling it. Because what I would see happening is it's kind of like at some point there's a commandment like don't eat corn.
Yeah.
And you're sticking with it, and then John is kind of like, my followers, hey, we like corn, and that's when you have a war that goes for 400 years, because like you got the
don't fight, don't start a war.
Yeah, no war. Yeah, no,
especially over oil.
Over oil or vinegar or.
And if you do start a war over oil, be upfront about it. Don't pretend like it's not a war about oil.
I mean. You can use something else besides oil.
Yeah.
I think. Like
vegetable oil.
Vegetable oil. You can go vegetable oil.
Yeah. Fight for if you start a war, make sure it's over access to healthy vegetables.
Peanut oil. Yeah, healthy vegetables. Yeah.
Healthy vegetables.
Man, I don't know. I just know like the writers and creators of Sesame Street would just like be so torn because they'd be like healthy vegetables. That's fabulous, but the carnage, they would be psychological torn between healthy consumption of vegetables and
because and also we love vegetables as like when they're animated and they're telling us what to do in VeggieTales, or if the man is dressed up as a vegetable. I know the ladies like that.
Is that that type of thing?
Yeah.
Because I remember the Fruit of the Loom guys. I don't think I've ever talked to any woman that was like really into that.
I think that isn't that why they chose those guys?
I don't know.
It's when they hit the Fruit of the Loom.
It is weird that they named a underwear company after Fruit of the Looms. Mm-hmm. It's an odd, bizarre choice for a brand.
But hey, I think it was from back in the day when that's what they would have. They had a bunch of fruit. They had a lot of weird logos.
Maybe it was like if you farted, then they'd think that your farts would smell like fruits of the loom instead of normal farts. Yeah. I know that they had different logos way back when, and I think they were just here's some fruits. Here's some fruits. No vegetables. Not vegetables of the loom. Fruits of the loom.
Yeah, back in the day, that's true. Now we look at the logos we have. Back then, like kind of like a cornucopia, just with like food spilling out of it, was like that was a really good logo for like a car company.
Because people would be like, ooh, the food is pouring out of.
Yeah, because I think ultimately our vision for the Smalltalk podcast is to build it into a brand, a lifestyle brand, with a vision of inspiring, great, authentic, wholesome small talk. The whole human race.
Yeah, we want to teach
capable.
people to do small talk.
Yeah, how do you do small talk? Here's a topic right now. You could talk about art and patterns in nature. There's a topic.
Oh, yeah. Now your stuff, it looks like it's alive.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, like I said before, I think I was trying to go for something that would have like multiple references. So basically, if you look at the work, you could read it different ways instead of it being, obviously illustrative of one set thing in nature. Yeah, and a lot of the works on they put on the website are from different times.
Do you make noise? Like, do you ever like while you're making these? Do you make noises to yourself?
I don't believe so. No.
Oh, okay.
No.
Yeah. I've kind of
Solid noise. But
I don't-
tell me the difference between, because your work's on paper and your paintings are different. So your paintings are about naturally the same types of patterns, but it looks like they're based on geological and architectural.
Yeah.
It's like, what's the difference between your painting and your drawing stuff?
I think, the paintings are kind of like an earlier group of works I worked on for several years. But no, as John asked, I think one of like the big differences, I do make noise when I'm making the paintings. It's usually kind of like a meh. So my
Do your noises have patterns? So do you
I'm not
do you repeat?
sure.
So it's like would you make that sound but then keep making it repetitively?
It could be. I just know that my wife, she likes the drawings better, and I think for that reason. Because if she hears like, he's like he's painting again. Like,
Yeah.
And he's
He's doing this type of pattern.
yeah.
no, but the paintings were. Yeah, I started off painting. I painted for several years, and I liked the work. I think I got to the point where. Yeah, I think I just got burnt out, and I think it was kind of. For a while there, I couldn't paint. The work
That
went really
happened.
well.
That happens sometimes. You just get to a point where you're like, what am I going to do next?
Because you always got to outdo yourself. You got to keep improving. Kaizen, constant improvement.
That's true. I think that's what happened. I think everything's fine if you're looking at the work you're making now, and then you look at work you made like 3 months ago, or a year ago, or 2 years ago, and you're like, hey, it's getting better. I think if it's been a while and you just kind of look at what you're doing now, and then you look at what you did 3 months and a year ago, and you're like, that stuff was a lot better. That's usually, I think that's kind of what happened.
Yeah. I think when you're being honest, the key is to set the bar when you first start off really low. Like do really shitty art.
Okay, yeah,
no one believes in
That's
you.
a good idea.
And then the bar is so low that you can only go up from there.
Yeah.
Why come out and start all good? You want to start at the bottom. Then, because then your earlier works of art that everyone threw out, then it's like, this is Josh Nickerson's first piece of work.
Yeah.
But all your friends and family threw it out because it was so shitty, so then it becomes more valuable.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, we're always thinking about when the artist dies in my family, I noticed.
Yeah.
They're always like, when you're dead, Uncle John, that'll be worth something. But like I tell them, you got to be taking care of Uncle John before he kicks off to get all that valuable death art.
Well, yeah. Well, I think at this point, we're just in the planning stage of your death. So
Okay.
we're trying to, you have to go out, you can't just die from a heart attack. Like it has to be some sort of, you have to cut off your ear first, or not your ear, like do something like that where it's memorable. You can't just die by
memorable death.
getting a heart attack. You have to be, he was mad. He jumped off of City Hall.
Have you figured out any memorable deaths?
Well, we're just, right now we're in the planning, brainstorming stage.
Yeah.
And then once we come up with the most epic death, then your artwork, people will want it.
A shot out of a thing called a man cannon.
that'd be a bad way to die.
Have you figured out an interesting way to die?
That would
Plant your art into the consciousness.
I mean, the canon's not bad. Just be like heavily sedated first, because you don't be aware when you collide
I think for
with
me
something.
at this point, because it seems like this is the only thing that's, everyone's going to die. So if you don't plan it out, what were you spending your whole life doing? You didn't think about it. But I think at this point, I want to know. I want to incorporate Niagara Falls in some way, because it's right there. Maybe not going over in a barrel, because that seems kind of standard. But Niagara Falls is right there. You have to incorporate that somehow.
Oh,
into
maybe
your
you could
death.
go over it while it's frozen. People love the falls when they're frozen. Just skate right over the edge.
That
People would be like,
that's different. Yeah,
You could ice skate over it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just
Play hockey.
or have like a flying device. So when you hit the edge, you take flight.
You could wait till it freezes, and then get some sort of wings, and then see as far as you could get.
or let me think. I remember reading somewhere. I don't even know if this was a website. This might have just been something posted on a website, but they had this thing that you plug in like your body weight, and it would tell you how many cups of coffee you'd need to drink for it to be lethal.
Oh.
And I thought that was interesting. It was basically saying this is how many cups of coffee. Although I guess they had a disclaimer that was kind of like, it'd be difficult to keep enough coffee in your system for it to actually cause death, because you'd probably be urinating a lot.
Yeah.
But the list of side effects was not fun, because it said, like, you know, like, you'd probably have, like, trouble. By the end, you'd be, like, have problems with motor control, and probably, like, you know, the heart rate would be irregular, and you'd probably get to the point of, like, disorientation and hallucination. So you'd have to be determined. You'd probably have to need assistance to fill the cup, and it would be a rough road.
Deaths fall into two categories. Either you go out in a sudden fit of madness, or it's a slow, long, gradual decline. There's no middle ground.
Well,
so it's which one is it going to be? Are you going to get mad?
Would disappear when they died, or turn into ash, or something like in the movies, or like just fade away.
Yeah,
that would be so cool, but they don't. It's just.
This could be another commandment for our religion: is plan your death beforehand. Have a thorough plan, engaging plan for your death.
Oh, okay. Or maybe have something attached.
Or they turn into useful things, like kind of like a video game. When you died, you'd kind of turn into like some gold coins, or like a medical kit, or maybe bronze armor, or a club. Because
that's a great idea. Or you have something attached to your heart. Yeah, and when the heart stops pumping, then
people get stuff.
People get stuff.
Oh man, this sounds like the worst dystopian science fiction movie ever. Just really encourage murder.
I think any great religion would start with the end in mind. If you want to achieve a goal, you have to have a vision. You have to know where you're going. So if once you know where you're going, the end point, then you can gradually plan your way back. So it seems like the First Amendment should be have a thorough plan for your death and have it be engaging and exciting. So that's the first thing. Always meditate on that. And then just think about it. If you read on the news and there was never boring news articles, it was always like, hey, that follower, look at that was a crazy death. Great job.
Okay,
Wow, this is a good religion, because it has metaphysics, but it also has like just entertainment value for the rest of society, because it'd be like
I feel like
fascinating death.
I feel like most other religions, they start with, oh, don't worry about death. Like, it's not going to happen. But ours is saying, no, death is real. It's going to happen. And knowing that it's going to happen, get the most out of your death. Don't kind of pretend it's not going to happen, you know?
Get the most out of your death somehow.
Oh, so almost like going more towards ancient Egypt. Like, you know, you're going to die, but we're not going to scatter your ashes. We're going to build a huge building. We're going to wrap you. We're going to wrap horses, baboons, cats. Have like cheese in there, wine.
We're going to behead hundreds of thousands of people and let their blood fall out. Like, that's exciting.
Well, I like the Chinese way where they just made the clay statues of everything, which was a great. They found that terracotta army.
That's right.
Which is really cool.
Yeah.
They
talk about art.
These guys up.
They're turning death into art.
Instead of
through a natural repeating pattern. Death is a repeating pattern.
In
the universe. So embrace that pattern, and
but patterns. That's another great thing. We got those helixes that make genes, and they just follow this nice, cool helix pattern.
Or what about quilts? Do you like quilts? Because there's a lot of patterns there.
No, I do. I don't know if they're necessarily. For this work, I've been looking mostly things that are, more organic. I love quilts, but I haven't really incorporated them yet.
Well, grandmas are organic. Grandmas.
Yeah.
They're made of organic matter.
Most of them,
Their quilts would be.
More organic?
Yeah, the quilt is a pattern of nature expressing itself through the grandma.
Because they're putting things in cube form, which humans like. We like to put things in triangles and rectangles, thusly.
Man, what am I...
But I was going to ask you another question. Now, do you like computer chips?
Yeah, I've looked at them somewhat. Yeah, I think it's...
Yeah,
and then there's something similar. I don't think I've looked at them much for this work, I think. Yeah, because this tends to be almost like more, single units, like, lined up. And computer chips, I mean, in the future, I could incorporate them more. But they tend to have almost branches with, like, but I think if I started, lining up the smaller shapes and connecting them with, like, thicker branch forms, I could use them,
When you doodled as a kid, did you doodle, like, patterns and stuff a lot, or?
Yeah, I did, and there's something kind of interesting looking at this work. like looking back, because I was like in 4th grade, and that's around when they determine if you have like a learning disability or not. So if you're going to qualify for that, you have to you're going to go get tested basically. So, and I remember like most of it didn't apply, but they have you like draw a picture is one of the things. And I remember like once I had drawn the picture, they said like most people, they like sketch. They basically they sketch the image. They tend to like, go sketch out the larger forms, get like the basic lines, and then they kind of go and work on the detail work. And I guess they said like I started from one corner, and I kind of drew the picture from one corner, like almost like mapped it the way kind of like, like almost like a printer would or something.
Like a totally different thought process than most people.
Yeah, and I think it was just like I tend to draw, like if I look at an image, I basically draw like one shape, and then I draw whatever shape is touching that shape, and then I just move that way.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much how I just learned to draw. And I guess that's how like any drawing works, is like these are pretty, dense drawings, but even something that's has a lot of what we read as empty space. Like there's really no empty space, it's just the form gets bigger.
Yeah.
Like even if you draw a desert, it's going to be like, like the land would be one block.
Yeah.
And then, you have a block of sky maybe in the middle, but the sky's touching, would be part of a canyon, which is a shape. So it's always a puzzle. Like there's no real space in there. It's a flat piece of paper.
Yeah.
So I think that's always how I kind of thought of it,
That's fascinating. You have a different, like me, I'm in other artists, I'll glop on some paint over here and make this picture.
Like a young Bob, what's his name?
Bob Ross, that
Bob
guy?
Ross, yes.
but it's me, but you're thinking in terms of like shapes and building.
Yeah, so did your teachers kind of think there was something wrong with you when you were just like repeatedly doing circles, and they're like, oh, this Josh on your report card, there's something wrong with him because he just draws circles or squares over again?
No, I don't think I was, not when I was a kid. I think I kind of drew like standard stuff. I draw like cartoon characters. I think I was like good at drawing, but it would just be different because I think they try to teach you how drawing's normally taught.
Yeah.
And I think I couldn't see it that way because they have you like draft out.
Yeah,
they draw lines.
People get really frustrated with that when they're told, you have to do a circle and do the cross, but other people have another way of looking at it, which is cool.
I think we were taught I don't know, we were taught that way, like perspective, where you pretty much you're like, well, we're gonna draw this house in perspective. So you sit down, you draw the lines, and you have like, the horizon line and all the lines attached to it. And, you draw this wall and you plan it all out as if it's like kind of this projection.
Like a vantage point.
Yeah.
Like, you start with a point on the picture and then it's going there.
Which I think for most people is pretty difficult. And then if you want to then if anything moves, you have to like plot it all out again. So if you want to have like a house here, and you're like and like just like theoretically, if you're like, oh, and I want a cube in the sky, but the cube's going to be turned like this, you can't take the lines that you drew for the house. You kind of have to plot it all out again.
Yeah.
And I think when I was a kid, what I was aware of is just like, there's, like I said before, there's no space in the drawing. It's a flat piece of paper. And I think a lot of times people have a difficult time with drawing because like they're trying to draw space. Is when they try to draw a table, they look, they go, oh, I'm going to draw the table, and then this part of the table is closer, this part, and then this part of the table is farther away, and they kind of draw it because they're thinking it out, when it's basically just a drawing is like, it's a puzzle that's locked together.
Yeah.
And I just remember being like, well, there's, the table's not, I guess the big difference is people tend to think like, like 3 feet, 6 feet, 9 feet. When like in drawing, all you really need to know is it's kind of like, 3 feet, 6 feet, 9 feet. You're just drawing the line. You move the lines around and that creates space, and you don't, it's just different puzzle pieces.
Oh, that's fascinating.
I mean, I don't know if that makes sense, if I'm describing it well.
You have a different process. I mean, like, I don't know, maybe it's similar to the way like people will design stuff, and like you see like how say kimonos are designed, where like they have these, they're thinking in terms of silk, and they have in the like the ladies will like they're able to figure out patterns, and they're just thinking completely differently than like say like like a painter or an image, like a person's trying to create like a picture of, like me, like I want to do a picture of a beer can or whatever. It's just a cool thought process.
No, I know what you're saying, and I think like painting's different too, because I think with like drawing, I mean you can get like a perfect line.
Yeah.
And that's going to not necessarily perfect, but you can draw a line in such a way that like it communicates, that sense of space. I mean, you can with a painting. I think like if somebody's using like masking tape, you could get a pretty crisp shape. But a lot of times with painting, I think it's almost like you have the paint and you're moving the paint around and you're trying to get the paint to give that sense of an image.
Yeah.
And sometimes, it's almost.
Yeah. If you don't, you need a certain finesse to like. My thing is I try to be too realistic. I should probably maybe step it back and try to like maybe let the brushes do their thing, and I don't know.
Yeah, because your art is very. How do you describe your art?
Well, I try to be symbolic of things. I try to be symbolic. I try to be symbolic of things. Like I'll try to like I want to watch something like I did an L. Ron Hubbard head, and I want it to look just like L. Ron Hubbard.
Wait, L. Ron Hubbard?
Good old L. Ron Hubbard.
I'm sorry, I was like,
yeah.
When you guys were talking,
I wanted to have him fighting David Bowie, so I tried to draw something that looked just like David Bowie, with the position of his arms and how that would do. But they were doing a wizard battle thing.
I'm sorry, when you guys were having the last conversation, I was like, one of the hard things of this job is trying to focus on working this machine while talking. But I was so amazed by this type of camera structure.
Yeah.
Like, we could put advertisements here and here.
Advertisement, yeah.
Even like
They're there?
Your art, Josh, when we are talking about it, we could put your art
Right there.
Right up top above your head or next to your side.
That's right.
Look at that space for advertisements to make
That's
money.
right. You could have art right there, and you could have this way. Is it,
Up.
No,
Or
I'm
this
trying
side?
to go.
Oh,
where am I-
behind you.
No, I'm trying to get to this one. I'm having like left, right issues.
On top of you?
This one. No,
Yeah, see, John, below.
right there. John, this
See?
one.
John, do you want to
We go.
do you want to
there
put
we
your
go.
email below you where people should just send you a link to their bank account?
Yeah, sure. Yeah,
Down there.
Or
So you have art and then an ad. You could even have art with like an ad inset. So just like a tiny little ad in the corner of the art. So. Like,
who do people say you look like?
Oh man, they don't. Oh, you mean from like the Facebook post? That only happened once.
Or like people say, oh, you look like Walter White, or Walter White, but maybe younger.
See, I have more hair than Walter White.
Yeah.
But other than that, there's a lot of similarities. Like we both make our money by cooking meth, so that's true.
Yeah.
But
Well, we talked on the last episode of our grandma had a meth lab on her street.
really,
Yeah, down the
Fun,
street.
interesting fact about us.
It blew up, and
It blew up, and she got all flustered. She's like, my street isn't safe because there's people cooking meth.
Yeah, at the very, it was weird.
They're like, Grandma, haven't you seen Breaking Bad? It's fine.
Yeah, yeah.
She's probably just a struggling chemistry teacher.
A wonderful show. Wait, would you commit a crime? Like, say there's an art crime. Would you do it and be like, I need to make money for some reason, but then you'd turn evil, maybe?
You mean like a Batman villain? I don't know. That seems like a rough life because then you get a theme, and if you have an art theme, then it's kind of like every crime you commit has to be art related, and it's
tough.
I don't know if I would commit an art crime.
You know what? I'm not good enough to do like a replica of a painting. You know, I can like I can.
Oh, I see what you're saying. You don't mean like rob a gallery like a Batman villain. You mean like a forger, like
a forger. I could
okay.
do. Like I could forge like one of your artworks and put my name out and go. Ooh.
Oh, what was that guy's name? I can't remember his name. There's like this famous like British forger.
Mm-hmm.
I guess like he forged all these famous paintings and he got caught and he went to jail. And now I guess he's like making a living because he's like, hey, I'm out of jail. I have a manager now, and I guess that's what he does. Is like rich people go to him and they go, hey, I really like this Michelangelo painting, and he goes and he literally creates a forgery, but it's understood, and that's how he makes his money. He's like, it's not real, but if you see it and you like it, I'll paint it for you, and I'm not going back to jail. Everybody wins. It's working for him.
Cool. I'm sorry. I'm so distracted by this machine.
It's great.
Look at this thing. Look what I can do. Look at that.
Do you
How am I supposed to focus on a conversation when I can do this with my So I think,
Do you worry about machines? Do you worry about them becoming intelligent, or
especially with big data. Now it's like companies like Google, Amazon are looking at patterns in your personal data to do things.
Patterns.
Look,
It all comes back to
patterns.
patterns.
Big sets of data, billions of rows of data.
We were talking to earlier. You'll go to a website. You'll have to prove to the
right.
website, to a machine, that you're not a machine. We'll show you a bunch of pictures and ask you, like, how does this make you feel?
Yeah,
Like, is that a baby? I've had these like things where they're test to see if you're a robot.
Man,
I'm not a robot.
I'm not sold on that, but
I'm not a robot.
I've known you for several years, but I'm still.
I'm not a robot.
I'm gonna.
You're human, unfortunately.
I'm a man.
Would you rather be a human or a
A
robot?
subpar man.
A run-of-the-mill man.
Yeah, run of the mill.
I think that next episode of the show, you should bring in. Remember that test from Blade Runner? We just
We should do that.
ask people about like that memory when you were a child of the spider, and you could talk about the spider. And we look at people's pupils. We'll determine. I'm not a robot.
Maybe we should.
Would
take that road.
you rather be a human or a machine?
Uh,
Sometimes I think I'd rather be a machine. Being a human is so cumbersome. The cumbersome maintenance ritual. You got to brush your teeth, comb your hair.
Clean the old hair.
You got to run on a treadmill 30 minutes a day. This is so cumbersome.
Oh
I'd
my
rather
God!
just be
Don't
a-
even get me started. I had to do a colonoscopy.
Oh God.
Yeah, I had somebody do it to me. I didn't have to do it to anybody, but
Why can't
It was,
why can't a computer do that? Or why can't a computer just look at you and just know?
just go.
Just scan. Why does it have to be so invasive?
Yeah, they put it's a camera. They put a camera.
Ah,
in there.
God.
I know.
And then that footage is somewhere.
It is. Hey, darn it! I should write them and see if they have.
Hey,
that
can I
recorded.
have my
Why not?
colonoscopy footage?
I'm
please?
sorry, John. I'm still laughing about the. I had to get one. I didn't have to like give a colonoscopy. That was just like it was some sort of like almost kind of like very
Plus,
like kind of some like
what a
cult- like-
profession.
Well,
Why did he choose that? Why you could have put anything?
Oh yeah, I mean, I could have I could do it, but I watched some YouTube videos and stuff. I'm sure we all learn how to do it. But no, I suggest going to somebody.
But
you don't want to do that yourself.
A colonoscopy doctor. You could have been anything. You're obviously smart. Why would you choose that of all the things?
It's hilarious.
Oh yeah.
Would you-
hilarious.
Would you do it? Go to medical school just for the humor?
I would, but well, then also it's probably very hard to actually kill somebody.
That's true. It's
I would
very difficult.
think, but no, the guy he cut stuff out of there too.
Oh, that's
Oh, God.
There's polyps in there.
Oh God!
It's a
pattern.
It's a goddamn. It's a goddamn pumpkin.
Patterns
He
in
looks for
nature.
patterns in people's colons.
It's a goddamn pumpkin in there. It's little seeds and things. Well, they don't visualize that at home. I'm sorry, folks.
It's too late, especially when you tell someone don't visualize
Don't,
it. Then
please,
We're
this is a
painting mental images for
No,
our viewers.
no, this is a PG show, guys. Don't
PG-13. We're PG-13.
PG-13 show.
But
Okay.
at this point, it balances out because the people at home are probably thinking like, yes, John Frallo made me imagine patterns in people's, polyps, but like he also saved my life. He said put the gun down. He's still ahead
Also,
of things,
it's
yeah.
about 48 minutes into our show. Why are you still watching, viewers? Why are you watching us?
Wow.
Don't you have other things to do?
They
In
don't.
Today's fast-paced,
never
fast-paced
never
world.
supposed to say
Aren't-
that. The
aren't you glad-
the
No,
sponsors.
I'm curious.
They're
Is
sitting
it
down.
for our great advertisement that could be here? Remember, John's losing his job.
I'm losing
Do you
my
want him living out on the street? Do you
I'm
want
losing
John-
my job. I'm an amateur colonoscopy guy.
Look at this face. You don't want this guy being homeless?
You don't want me homeless.
Hold on. For people on the radio, you should kind of go into like a very thorough paragraph of what John looks like, so that way they can get a mental image.
Okay, I have a large nose. I have big eyebrows.
He's a white male.
That's right. I'm a Caucasian type of guy.
And Caucasian males are known to do some pretty bad things.
Oh my God! What's wrong with you people out there? You
Caucasian males?
not you.
Why would
guys.
he do that?
What are you doing? What are you
That
thinking?
Las Vegas shooter? Why do you do that?
What's that? Do you hear about that one guy Wazinski? What's that one guy with the plant?
Plant?
The plant.
What plant?
He was in Buffalo. That maniac. He was with all the pretty ladies.
You
Wazinski.
lost me. I don't.
Oh gosh darn it! He did something with a plant. Who does that? Is that a thing? You do something with a plant? Really? I think his.
I don't. You lost. I don't.
His name's. He was a famous producer guy. He's a famous producer. I'm spitting all over the place.
That's all right. I'm entertaining the viewers with this. Look at this.
He's a famous
Look at this
producer guy.
fade. Look
He
at
would
that.
seduce women.
54.
He'd be like, "Hey, actress, come here," and he would do things into a plant for some reason. That's the thing.
I didn't.
These white men,
Damn white man.
and then they get away with it.
You might actually be a robot, though.
What?
You might actually be a robot. We haven't determined that. If you're a robot, you don't.
Oh yeah. Back to the
not-
question.
Yeah, then you don't really have to. You're a robot. You
Yeah.
don't
You're
have to really worry about.
You don't have any feelings.
Yeah.
Okay.
No cumbersome maintenance
No.
rituals.
Yeah, really. You're just a robot.
You can instantly process all information the human
true.
race has created.
It would be nice.
It would be nice.
Yeah. Right now, humans aren't computing wise. We're way behind.
Now I'm freaked out. Next time Google asks me like to take that test where you have to like select all like the traffic lights and the bikes, I'm not going to take it. I'm a
Yeah.
little freaked out. It'll say you are a robot. I'll learn.
Yes, I
from
am.
Google. Like,
I am a robot. Yeah.
yeah.
But that is ironic. Oh shit. Okay. Oh, oops. Sorry. I'm getting into a last Morissette vortex here. Is it ironic? Is it ironic? Is it ironic? Is it? Okay. Stop. Sorry.
Violence. We don't promote
sorry.
violence.
Yeah.
But I'm saying you mentioned about like but you were back to robots. What was that? I'm trying to think where. It was like a TED Talk. It was a TED Talk of all things. They're talking to this guy. Where was he from? He's from he was like a psychologist from like a British university. And I thought it was interesting because like, being a kid, you read all those science fiction stories where they're kind of like, well, computers will get smarter and smarter and smarter, and then they'll become self-aware, and then we're in big trouble. But I guess this guy was saying, he was like, well, something can be intelligent, and it can have like more and more computing power,
Yeah.
but that scientists still don't know what the hell consciousness is, and that like a
Yeah.
computer might not just become conscious. It might not be something
Yeah.
it's
It's a slow
capable of
gradual
ever.
Maybe we're overthinking this stuff. Maybe.
I don't know.
I think
Yeah.
that one of the exciting things that I've heard about is the technological singularity of when, the computers just, kind of exponentially increase their intelligence.
Yeah.
And hey, who knows what they did once they realize, wow, these humans are they're kind of useful. They make great art and they are creative, but they're idiotic as a species. Who knows what they want to do?
I would think they would want to keep us around because they would get good ideas from us.
They would though, because we're pretty creative.
And we come up with stuff.
We
I
have
don't know.
definitely our pros as a species, but
Yeah.
I mean,
wouldn't
there's
I wouldn't allow to make us into batteries or whatever. Or put us
Batteries?
in the Matrix.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about the batteries. But you're right. Once they're all, you're talking about like almost like Terminator time. Although one thing is,
like once they spread out into the universe and molecules become smart and molecules have computing power because the computing power keeps getting smaller and smaller, so it's embedded embedded everywhere. It's throughout the universe. The universe is smart, so molecules can at the molecular level can talk to each other using computing.
wow.
And then
But doesn't the universe cancel itself out? You're part of the universe?
well, then computing becomes embedded in the universe. So molecules have the intelligence of computer chips and
And I've heard theories like that where like you'd have like a gray ooze, like you'd have like a little microcomputer that would turn like paper
like the
into-
nano machines
Yeah.
that like
and
just go and,
we
like,
would all
wave everything
become.
out.
That's pretty creepy. I'm against that. I'm against that. Thank you very much.
I would
computers.
like to help with your political campaign.
Okay,
John
yes.
Farello is against nano-organisms
Nano-organisms.
cannibalizing other forms of life.
Exactly, becoming like
it's a solid campaign message. Who wouldn't vote for
The
that?
only problem is like whatever party he runs for, the other party would be like, "What's wrong with nano machines? Nano machines are."
And once our religion takes off, we can pander to our base, our religious base.
we'll pander to them.
Yeah, we'll just pander to them.
pander
and they'll
'em.
just vote for us because they believe in our religion.
Yeah, we'll just pander them.
So if we get 50% of the country just
Yep.
following our religion,
Okay.
then we can just
Or
ascend to political power,
actually,
seize power.
all you need is unfortunately, all you need is like a dedicated minority of kooks.
That's what I'm
and-
saying, our religious followers.
Yeah, but like in our country, like
There won't be kooks, they'll be the higher intelligence beings.
Oh, okay, yeah, not kooks. You guys, you're not kooks, but yeah.
That'd be quite like the Twilight Zone twist ending, though, to actually like have that go well. You're the party, you just
Yeah.
got president, but the only problem is your entire platform is you're like pro human destroying nanobots. So you're like, this is, we got the platform, but we ran on the promise of just wiping everybody out with
If you had-
nanobots.
yeah. Because people do get politically tribal. They're like, I hate those other people so much.
I think enough people on Facebook would get so against nanobots.
Yeah.
You'd be enough people that would just have to comment about
Once
how much
start
they like
taking people's
nanobots.
jobs, once the computers start doing their work, their routine, mundane tasks more efficient than them, then they'll hate their computers.
But you
Unless
know
the
what?
computers liberate their souls.
This is the thing. Humans have more of a tendency to hate other people because actually, people are losing jobs because of machines right now. But they're like, the Mexicans gonna come over here and pick our fruit
What if the computers
and stuff.
liberated the humans and allowed them to pursue creative endeavors?
I like that. Okay.
Yeah.
I like
We should
that.
partner with the computers, be like, hey, computer, my accounting job is so mundane and repetitive. Use your computing power and intelligence to do my job so that I can go be a starving artist and pursue my human creativity.
Okay, yeah.
Because computers aren't creative yet.
That would be great. It would be a paradise for all of us. We could have like
Yeah, we could do whatever we want.
yeah.
That's true. We just need to be like, I don't know. I'm trying to think. I mean, like just sentient Bitcoin. You're like, money, go
Bitcoin.
make money. It would just go out in the market and it would make more of itself and come back and be like, you're fine. I've been out there making more Bitcoin.
That's another thing. Okay, say we get that your nano death technology. Instead of having the nano death bots, you say nano death bots make me a house. Make me
Yeah, well, they can
seriously,
already.
make
They
me a
can already.
mansion.
There's like they can 3D print a house for like $3,000. It's like, oh, yes, I want one of these. Can I sign up? But because of our bureaucratic housing system, it's
Couldn't that be like living in a cookie house where it sounds like a good idea, but once you do it, it's like it's a cookie house. Like that's a load-bearing cookie, and I'm smothering here.
I was gonna say though, for the purposes of politics, though, we got to do like rebranding because like nano death bots doesn't have
You're
that ring
right,
because you're kind of like but for an advertiser though, nano death bots like they'd be
or
an excellent
nano buddies.
nano buddies.
Nano buddies. Some nano buddies to create paradise for you.
Oh, I like that future better. The idea of like, the computers just, they go out through the universe and computing becomes universal. Because, I was raised with, I think a lot of us were raised with kind of like, the Terminator situation was just like angry metal skeletal robots just shooting people.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, what an empowering future to know that we can create technology that can then go out into the universe and we can explore the universe rather than being like, we don't know what we're doing.
Another thing, can we make that thing be God?
no, that I don't know.
Like a super intelligence to be our God.
The one thing that scares me though is, do you remember? No, but you're like if you did have like the sentient computer, one thing that kind of scares me, although it makes me feel better for like Skynet, the horrible computer from Terminator. So you hear that thing about like, I think it was Microsoft. Microsoft like built like this bot thing that they wanted, like the social bot. They wanted to send it out on the web and have people talk to it, and it would learn from them. But they didn't really think it out well. And it was like a bunch of middle-aged dudes in a room, and they were like, we'll have it be like a hip teenage girl, and we'll just like send it out. But it's like 2 p.m. So it's not like other teenage girls don't want to talk to this synthetic teenage girl. So it's just like a bunch of dudes playing Call of Duty at like 2 p.m, like talking to this robot. And I guess so after like, I'm sure if you Google this, you'll find it in 2 seconds. But it turned out like within like a couple days, it was basically because it talked to people and it learned from them, that it ended up just being like this like swearing, like fascist, just horrible racist thing, because it was talking to people that wanted to talk to a fake teenage girl robot at 2 p.m.
Yeah, I can
and
only
they shut it down. So so I'd be worried that computers would become sentient. They'd be like, hey, I'm here to help you, but then they would just start like trolling around the internet and be like, these things are insane. Like I need to just
So I hate to cut this very engaging show, but we have about a minute and a half left.
Oh,
so we need to get all of our sponsors.
So it's our sponsors.
Our sponsors.
But we got to thank Josh Nickerson for coming here.
Thank you, Josh Nickerson. So if people are actually they do like your work, where can they find you? How can they? What's their call to action? What do you want them to do with this new knowledge
Let's
of your
see.
art?
I'm on Instagram. I'm on Facebook. And I have a website.
Okay.
So
we'll put it right here, right there. Look at this information, right there. Yep.
Really cool.
So yeah, and I show locally. I had a show last summer, and as soon as I got something new, it'll appear on the website and,
Instantly.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. Your art is great.
Thank you.
You
Thank
have
you so
great art.
much.
Yeah.
I love your work as
And-
well.
And you are a great human being solely because, not solely, but now that you have appeared on our show, you are guaranteed
Yeah.
to go to our religion's heaven.
Yeah, and
We've blessed you now.
and
You're
remember-
going there because you've been on our show.
And remember, now that you're getting older, you might need a colonoscopy. I've been watching some YouTube videos. I can help you out cheaper. I got a camera, so give me a call. I'll be able to help you out.
So you're talking about the kind of like give one get one. Is it kind of like a co-op situation? Like everybody just goes in and it's kind of like,
We can
like-
discuss this off the air.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that might be
But
better off
bye,
the air
viewers.
topic.
Let's wave bye to our viewers.
Hey, where are
Thank
the
you.
viewers?
You are a hearty soul. You've continued. You're still watching.